Why avoidants respect you when you follow these rules, not because they want control but because these rules reflect emotional strength, balance and confidence. Avoidant people value independence and emotional safety more than anything else. When they sense pressure, over-explaining or emotional intensity, they instinctively pull away. But when you show calm energy, self-respect and boundaries, something changes, they begin to feel safe with you. And from safety comes respect. Avoidants don't respond to words, they respond to energy. When you stop chasing, when you stay centered instead of reacting, and when you allow space without fear, they start noticing. It tells them you're not seeking validation, you're secure in yourself. That calm confidence silently says, I don't need to control you to connect with you. These principles aren't about manipulation or playing games, they're about mastering your emotional presence, understanding when to lean in and when to step back. Respect from an avoidant grows naturally when you embody stability, not when you demand attention. Now here's the truth. Once you understand these dynamics, you'll stop overthinking why they pull away and start inspiring deep, consistent respect. Because real power isn't in chasing connection, it's in holding your ground while staying open-hearted. So if you've ever felt confused by an avoidance behavior, stay till the end, because by applying these 6 rules you'll not only earn their respect but completely change the way they see you. Now let's break it down. The very first rule is this: always know your emotional worth. Avoidants deeply respect people who recognize their own value. When you start measuring your importance based on someone else's attention or approval, you instantly appear unbalanced. Avoidant individuals naturally pull away from any energy that feels emotionally needy or dependent. Knowing your worth isn't about arrogance, it's about inner peace and quiet confidence. It means understanding that my presence has value whether someone sees it or not. When you live in that awareness, you don't get shaken by someone's distance or silence. That calm, steady energy becomes magnetic to an avoidant, because to them emotional stability equals safety. When you truly know your worth, your behavior automatically changes. You stop over-explaining, you don't beg for attention, and you never trade your self-respect for temporary connection. Your attitude says, I know who I am, and I don't need anyone's approval to feel complete. And that's when the avoidance behavior shifts. They start to see you as safe, someone they can trust, not someone who will pressure them. They open up more, their tone softens, and slowly, the distance starts to close. Because when you live your worth, the avoidant begins to fear losing you, not the other way around. The second rule is simple but powerful: never chase an avoidant, instead learn to move at their pace. Avoidants don't actually fear closeness, they fear pressure. When you start pushing for answers, seeking reassurance or reacting to their silence, they feel emotionally cornered and instinctively pull away. But when you allow them the space they need, when you stay calm even in moments of distance, they notice something different about you. They can sense that you're not trying to control the rhythm, you're respecting it. That quiet patience shows emotional balance, and to an avoidant, balance feels safe. This rule isn't about being distant or pretending you don't care, it's about trusting the natural pace of connection. When you stop trying to rush the process, you communicate one powerful message: I'm comfortable enough in myself to let things unfold naturally, and that's when the avoidance behavior shifts. They start reaching out first. Their messages become warmer, their tone softer, and the emotional distance slowly begins to close. Because when you stop chasing and start matching their pace, you replace their fear of losing freedom with a sense of trust they've rarely felt before. The third rule is one of the hardest: stay calm when they pull away. Avoidants often create distance, not because they've lost interest, but because they're trying to regain emotional balance. When they step back, it's their way of feeling safe again. Most people panic at that moment, sending long messages, asking what went wrong, or trying to fix the silence. But that reaction only feeds the avoidance fear and pushes them further away. Your power lies in calm detachment. When they withdraw, don't chase, stabilize. Use that time to center yourself, focus on your own life, and let the emotional air clear naturally. Your stillness communicates something profound. I can hold space without falling apart. Avoidants pay deep attention to energy. When they sense that your world doesn't collapse during their silence, they start to trust your emotional strength. You're showing them that closeness with you doesn't mean losing independence, it means being safe enough to breathe. And that's when the avoidance behavior shifts. They come back on their own, often more open than before. Their tone softens, their consistency grows, and they begin to engage without fear. Because your calmness tells them what words never could, that your connection isn't built on pressure, but peace. The fourth rule is crucial: keep your boundaries firm. Avoidants respect people who know where their limits are. When you allow too much, accept disrespect, or keep forgiving behavior that drains you, you unintentionally teach them that you don't value yourself. And the moment self-respect disappears, so does their respect. Boundaries aren't walls, they're clarity. They tell the other person, this is how I deserve to be treated. For avoidants, clear boundaries feel strangely comforting. They may resist them at first, but deep down they interpret structure as emotional safety. It shows them you're not afraid to walk away from what doesn't align with your peace. When you calmly express your limits without anger, you stand out, because most people either overreact or completely lose control. But you stay grounded. And that quiet firmness communicates more power than any argument ever could. And that's when the avoidance behavior shifts. They start respecting your presence instead of testing your patience. They approach you more thoughtfully, speak with more care, and treat your energy as something rare. Because firm boundaries don't push avoidance away, they make them feel safe enough to stay. The fifth rule is this: don't try to fix them, focus on yourself. One of the biggest mistakes people make with avoidance is believing that patience, love, or constant reassurance will heal them. But avoidants aren't looking for someone to fix their patterns, they're looking for someone who respects their space enough to let them fix themselves. When you shift your focus inward, improving your peace, your routines, your emotional stability, the dynamic changes completely. Avoidants notice energy more than words. When your life keeps moving, even when they step back, they start to see you differently. You stop being another source of pressure and start becoming a source of calm strength. Trying to fix an avoidant only triggers their defense mechanisms. But when you stay grounded and whole within yourself, you show them what emotional maturity really looks like. That stability is rare, and it silently commands respect. And that's when the avoidance behavior shifts. They begin to mirror your energy instead of resisting it. They open up more naturally, share more honestly, and approach you with curiosity instead of fear. Because the moment you stop trying to fix them, they finally start to feel safe enough to grow beside you. The sixth rule is powerful: protect your emotional energy. Avoidants are sensitive to the energy around them. If you're constantly drained, anxious, or emotionally overinvested, they feel it instantly, and their instinct is to pull back. Your emotional state sets the tone for the entire connection. Protecting your energy doesn't mean shutting down or being distant, it means guarding your peace like it matters. It's knowing when to engage and when to step back. It's being mindful of how much emotional effort you give to someone who isn't matching your presence, because your calm, grounded energy is what makes an avoidant feel safe enough to connect in the first place. When you take care of yourself, your rest, your mindset, your boundaries, you send a silent but powerful message: I respect my peace more than I fear your distance. That mindset is magnetic. It shows emotional independence, and to an avoidant, that's the ultimate sign of strength. And that's when the avoidance behavior shifts. They stop testing your limits and start valuing your presence. They approach you with more consistency and genuine warmth. Because when you protect your energy, they finally understand your connection isn't built on need, it's built on respect. Here's the truth: everything you've learned in these 6 rules comes down to one thing: self-respect. Avoidants don't just respond to what you say or do, they respond to the energy you carry. If your energy says, I need you to complete me, they pull away. But if your energy says, I value myself and I'm whole, with or without you, they feel it. And that's when they start to respect you on a deeper level. Respect doesn't come from effort, chasing, or proving your worth. It comes from alignment, from knowing who you are, and refusing to lose that identity in someone else's silence. Every time you choose peace over panic, patience over pressure, and stability over reaction, you're silently teaching them how to treat you. Avoidants notice consistency more than intensity. They remember how you stayed calm, how you didn't beg for reassurance, how you quietly walked away from what disturbed your peace. Those actions say more than any words ever could. So when you follow these 6 rules, knowing your worth, matching their pace, staying calm, keeping boundaries, focusing on yourself, and protecting your energy, something shifts. You stop trying to earn respect and start embodying it. You stop chasing connection and start attracting it naturally, and that's the real secret. Respect doesn't start with them, it starts with you. Because when you respect yourself deeply, the avoidant has no choice but to meet you at that level, or fade away on their own. Either way, you win, because your peace stays intact, and your worth remains untouched.